I told myself that this year, by the end, come 25, long story short, that I was going to make 50K. I made maybe a 50th of that, give or take, but I can't be mad at it. And here's why. Okay, so first things first, I am still a young woman. I forget about this all the time. You know what's so funny? Oh god, no, that's whatever. But yeah. So I told myself that come 2025, 50K. And my thing is, being that I do have an intern salary, I wasn't expecting necessarily. Here's the thing, whenever I say an intern salary, it at first I was like, wow, hey, this is nice. Because I was only supposed to be working like a couple days a week. And then that slowly transformed into many days a week. So at first it was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of, or I'm giving a lot of, I was, I was, I was gonna say a lot of bang for my buck. And then I'm like, that actually sounds kind of like phallic. What I was gonna say is that, oh, I made that goal in the first place because I was like, I mean, that's so egregious that it'll just inspire me to like do what I can. So, because unless I had saved every single cent that I made this past 6 months, and 6 months was actually 10 years. Wait, 2.5 years. And I didn't spend a single cent on rent or food or anything. If I hibernated, if one was to hibernate but maximize one's professional capacity the whole way, then I could have made an easy 50K in 2.5 years. So there's that, but that's not the case. So yeah, but I'm still so proud of myself because I came home for winter break. I have been working my working butt off this whole break. And you know what's crazy? So I live in the suburbs, but my car or my family, my car that is now that I gave my dad broke down. It broke down last time that I was here. Good God. What just fell? Bro. Good God. But the car that I gave my dad. Oh my God. Colloquially speaking, my dad's car. But he still considered it my car. I didn't, honestly. It was beautiful. I loved it. It was kind of. It was beautiful in spirit. It was beautiful in spirit. It was beautiful in spirit. And it did the freaking job. It needed consistent body work. Not body work. Um, like internal work, which is sad. But also, at least, here's my thing. I feel like it is so living in the suburbs, but like a lot of having some variability around how I'm able to meet my needs is crazy because the mentality that comes with being transparent on like on just I don't know on what I was talking about is it's hard because no one else in my proximal surrounding has that as the case. So I don't know. But long story short, this car broke down, and the nearest bus stop because I'm in the suburbs is like 5-minute drive away, an hour-long walk away. So I've been hauling my ass. Well, not hour. It was 47 minutes. But it was a lot because it's the winter and it's entirely comprised of hills. So it was it was trying. I feel like I keep flirting around being legitimate with myself because I'm like, if I'm like, oh, this is so hard, I don't want to be like, this is so hard. But it was so hard. There were a lot of just, yeah, a lot of needs that I wanted to be able to provide, to satiate for my family, um, could solely be met through going and doing all that, which it wasn't like, it's not that deep, but it's like, it was just sad for me. And then it it's a really hard thing to feel guilt with spending money for things that humanly didn't have to be spent, but in terms of safety and in terms of ability to like be functional through the things I have to do had to be spent. Like whenever I was coming home, I worked like 2 doubles back to back, which was crazy. And then I did a couple other shifts, but it was like a handful of days ago. Now I think I'm done working for break because I have some money in my pocket. But that's what I was gonna. That's where I'm gonna end up with this. Yeah, but it was crazy because I would walk in the morning, go to the bus stop, and it actually is kind of a beautiful walk. So I don't mind it so much. But the thing that I do mind is feeling the lack of autonomy that comes from having a car. Like if my whole family was sitting here, well, my family meaning my dad, myself, and the family friend that right now is helping with like providing care for my dad. Um, but and it's not like a and then they were roommate situation. My dad has mobility needs that presented themselves this past year, so that's the really beautiful thing about having family in times like these, and just the beautiful thing about having family. I'm really grateful for the just community network that my family has, yeah, organically created. But what was I even gonna say? Oh, but it's the fact that like, yeah, my whole house, like, we needed groceries, and the nearest grocery store is like a 20-minute walk from where the bus stop is. Which would have been like an hour, 10 minutes even. And also, mind you, there's a large sidewalk deficit. So it's just upsetting. It is upsetting. I think the thing that upset me, but also it's not the biggest deal ever, so I don't want to come off as like, nah, but also it is hard whenever I have a whole household of people that needs stuff and needs food and needs all of these different things. And the errands that I ran with a car that would have maybe been 10 minutes. Yeah? Yeah, yeah. But it's like there's so many things to get done, and I'm realizing that I have the most ability to get these things done out of anyone in my household. So I'm like, I'm gonna get them done because these are people that I care about. These are things that I want to do, XYZ. But it just produces so much stress on the variability of where maybe my mind is that morning or maybe XYZ. And like, it really wouldn't be like, it's not like the biggest deal ever. Like, but my thing is, coming home is a really big mental stressor for me. Not because anyone here is stressing me out deliberately, but it's the fact that, like, it's the fact that, like, yeah, we are all in, it feels like quarantine. That's what it feels like. It feels like quarantine right now. It feels like 2020. And also, it's just like every my name is called upon so consistently, and the second that I wake up, start moving, and someone hears me, my name is getting called, and it is just warfare on my nervous system. And I love everyone dearly, so I'm trying to help everyone out, and I am doing so, but it is just so much pressure, and then not being able to leave that to like, I mean, and I can like go on walks and whatnot, but I have things to do every single day. Someone's trying to oh, XYZ, this has to get done. Oh, XYZ, this has to get done. And I'm like, yes, 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 and yes. But I also was trying to come back and regroup and relax, especially after I was going through so many different transitional processes whenever I was home, other home. Uh, I will always feel so weird about calling the place that I habitate independently now home, which is a beautiful thing. It's beautiful to have two homes, but it's like, whoa, that's crazy. But there's just so much going on, and there's a lot relying on every single second. So it just feels very overwhelming to be trying to meet all of those different needs, but then also be able to take care of myself and give myself the time that I need to like just regroup from, yeah, from my other world. So yeah, where was I going with this? Oh, but yeah. So don't get me wrong, things are still beautiful, things are still well, but it's just a lot of pressure, and I'm so nervous, and it made me so upset to it's just nerve wracking. It's very nerve wracking. So I feel like I just need some physical release of like just a lot of I just have a lot of like like physical stress right now. I think a lot of it is tied to the fact that I am so tense right now. I'm tense in every way. And I'm like I can't let that be the case. I need to be able to like have physical wellness to make it through the things that I need to make it through. So right now, having to ignore all of that to get things done is it feels so hard. It feels so hard. In complete genuinity, it feels so hard and so challenging, and it is so trying on my body in every way. But this is what I was talking about in terms of I need to eat. Oh, but yeah, I just um done a different vlog, and I was talking about I need an EKG, which I'm glad I did get. What did they say? Yeah, the prescription for whatever it's called. I'm asking my dad's help to figure it out, because anytime I have a medical question, I just avert to my dad. I just defer to my dad, because I'm like, I don't even know what these bitches are trying to tell me. Do I go in? Is it a walk-in? Is it an appointment? Any type of thing? Do I have a tonsil stone? Worst feeling ever. Oh my gosh. Worst mouth feel ever, or throat feel ever, is having a tonsil stone like at the cusp. That's so nasty. I want to get my it's not even so nasty. It's just cuz that's human. It's just the fact that tonsil stones literally smell horrible. Like that actually is like biohazard. But yeah. So life is good, but it is just very trying to have a lot going on right now, but I'm trying to. And also, the thing that I really did want to, that's why I want to get all my ducks in a row while I'm home now, so that whenever I'm home the next time, the only things that I'm attempting, well, in terms of home, that I am attempting are like sustenance things, like, yeah, like running those errands rather than, because right now I am decluttering and trying to pack up this house because I don't want to get into the details, but yeah, a move is supposed to occur at some point in the year 2025. And to make matters even worse, I have no clue when it's going to be, like if it's going to be in the next month or if it's going to be like next December. So that's what's freaking me out because I have, and the whole thing is because my dad is older, he has not had the capacity to be able to do a deep declutter, and he had an office job back in, yeah, so there's just a ton of paper clutter everywhere. So, and it's not even stuff that I could just do my best organizational diligence with, because it's things that, like, to be able to effectively declutter and like minimize the volume of things that will have to be transported and move in the transit is actually present each and every single one of these things to him for review, take things out of a container, XYZ. It's just a ton of, and then there's not a ton of room because there's a lot of clutter in my home. So moving around is like, I love being home because I love seeing my dad and I love being home. But this stuff is stressful and I am just under so much pressure right now. But long story short, I worked these two doubles back to back. And the walk was actually, it was nice. It was nice. It just feels hard having, oh, but long story short, I was like, I'm gonna, I had planned to, like, both nights take, yeah, walk to the bus stop and then from the home that I was babysitting at. And luckily, that home is more in like blank proper, which is the city. So it's like 15 minutes away or so. And so there are more accessible bus stops, which is really nice. But so I had like a 15-minute walk from the home to the bus stop, which is still kind of crazy considering things. I'm like, I just, living in my other life in a city that has really good public transport infrastructure is exciting for me because I like to be here, there, everywhere, but I hate the idea of spending so much money on gas, insurance, and all this. Like, been there, wasted money on that. So, just long story short, that was the plan. But then it was like treacherous outside both nights. It was so unbelievably cold because it is the thick of the winter right now. Like, it's finally starting to like pick up. Things are starting to, temperature's starting to drop. There's more snow all the time. It actually snowed pretty heavily for like an hour earlier, which, and all of it stuck, which is beautiful. I love the snow, but it's like, traveling by foot in the snow, especially because, like, yeah, long story short, I was planning on taking the bus back to the nearest bus stop to me and then making that walk, but then I realized it would all be uphill. And also, here's another thing about infrastructure in the suburbs: the sidewalks are never salted because the only sidewalks that exist are ones that exist for the benefit of the residences nearby, which is beautiful and it's a great thing to have that accessibility in those areas. But it also means that by local ordinances, these people, like, it's not the city's responsibility to take care of those. It is the homeowners or the people that live there, which reasonably so, they shouldn't have to bear the burden of doing that to provide a service for all the people around them, especially because a lot of people that are living in these areas with greater accessibility have accessibility needs themselves. So it's like, I am not assuming that that is going to be something that everyone has the capacity to be able to do, but it also just makes it so that if I am, even in the morning times, it would be like still kind of dark outside whenever I was leaving because the sun doesn't fully rise, hasn't fully risen by the time that I was leaving out in the morning. Um, but it's scary because I'm walking down these incredibly steep hills and, or hill singular, because this is really nice because the last leg of the walk is like all downhill, which is so nice. But the first, so it's not horrible, but it's so uncomfortable and unsafe that that's what really frightens me. And also because my body just didn't take well to it. Because I'm the type of person, I do get up and around, but that was like a lot more like exercise that I've done with a lot more with me because I had like multiple bags with me because I'm going to stay the whole day. I need like a day's worth of food. I need all of my odds and ends and in betweens, which I put in a backpack. I had my coat on. I was like bundled up like to every single standard. So long story short, I'll be walking down these hills. It's no railing. The whole thing is icy. If I fall and if I fall and I was to injure myself in any way, which is very probable and plausible considering like the setup of this walking situation, nobody is going to see me come daytime until daytime. And it was scary. It was scary. It was scary. And I am so once again, I feel very weird flirting around like the X-Fight, but I'm like, this is scary. I don't want to be the person. But it's also like kind of woe is me. It kind of is woe is me right now because it's just an isolating feeling. I feel like my thing is if there were more people outside or if there was anyone outside, both both of those days and any of the shifts that I had worked prior that I was making that walk, I didn't see a single person out walking. And not a single person. I didn't even see people on bikes because these bitches in the suburbs love bikes. That really is a testament to something. So I feel like for me, it was more just the feeling of isolation in a circumstance that was genuinely physically unsafe. So I was really nervous for that. Also because I had like this pretty major like leg break a handful of years ago that I required surgery for. But whenever it gets cold, my leg just feels so weird. So the whole time I was walking, I was so nervous. I was like, because also I feel like it's less, because my thing is I could do unsafe if I knew that I had the financial means to be able to like recoup from that scenario. But in this stage of my life, thank God I learned the lesson of bodily safety before the end of high school, that had happened literally at the tail end of high school, because if that had happened now, it would be a nightmare. I literally do not know. That's why I am so big right now on safety, and I will continue to be, but it's too like not even to a neurotic point, but like I have eliminated so many things from my everyday life and so many things in the health decisions that I had been making before, even the dietary decisions, which says a lot because I have always been a person where like I eat everything and I still do that to the best of my capacity, but now I've done so much more due diligence with like actually making sure that the things that I am eating will have a positive manifestation in the long term so that they don't kill me in the long term. So, but it's just so stressful feeling like all of those things, like wellness is so it's stressful feeling like I have to rush myself through decisions of wellness because those decisions are supposed to be made in with autonomy so that you could do it with the most conviction for your health rather than just like everybody run, like it's freaky. So yeah, but it feels nice to be able to just say that and legitimize what it, but also I should have just done that from the freaking start. That's why it's important to have these conversations with myself because I forget to be compassionate with myself until I'm hearing the words that it is that I'm saying to myself and that I'm having about what I'm going through. So it's important. And I'm glad that I told myself these things, but I wish that had been something that I had attempted to do from the beginning to validate what it is that I experience before I even know how this reflects. Because what I am supposed to do with the information I have on my own life is receive it objectively so that I can figure out what I need out of myself and what my society needs out of me and how I can make those things work. It is not my first priority to always put things in receivable terms. Yeah. And the only reason that I feel like I can say that with my chest is because my thought process is so in consideration of the world around me that I don't feel weird being able to receive my thoughts as raw and work with them from that state. It actually did take a while of like having those things occur in tandem, like experiencing something and then being like, well, what does this mean for the world? Like now I'm just like, I need to experience it and validate it first. Like, I have to validate it first as a thought that I'm having, not validate it as, oh, yes, that's correct, but validate it as, like, this is something that I'm thinking. This is something that really felt weird and awful to me. It felt weird and awful to me, and I don't know why. And then whenever I'm having the discussion of why, that is kind of the common thread. That has always kind of been the case. Yeah. But it's really beautiful because now I'm like, oh, good God. But yeah, but it's really, it's a good thing that I feel like I landed on this page, and I'm glad to have been able to have that discussion with myself because I needed to hear from my own mouth that that was a hard thing to experience. It wasn't like the physical impact on my body was not bad. It was beautiful actually being able to trust in my body to carry me so far of a because it was about like 3 miles. So I was making pretty good time. That's like an average 15 and 3/4. Yeah. 15 and 3 no. 15 and 2/3 minute or mile. So walking, okay, you know what? I was making good time. Walking through the damn hills, 15 and 2/3 minute, 15 and 2/3, 15-minute, 40-second average. So that's pretty beautiful. But I'm just glad that, yeah, that I refamiliarized myself with having, like, placing, like, I don't know, placing that level of responsibility in my person to carry me that distance. It was beautiful to be able to do, especially after something that I really enjoy about being a nanny in the part-time is that it reminds me how much physical energy is supposed to be involved in a day, like how much a human is supposed to reasonably exert every day, because those kids have me on my feet the whole day. I'm on my feet, so that's another thing. It is kind of, that's the thing, that the only physical manifestation that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but that I adjusted to. Once again, it takes like consistent, that's why having those shifts on back-to-back days was nice, because it acclimated me to that physical change so quickly, or like it gave my body a chance to really register what that was like. And now in these days that I'm regrouping, I'm still a lot more physically active, and I haven't just been like chilling out all day, which is good. And the also really nice thing is, because whenever I come home, I only have a handful of families that like I contact to see if they need care, is that as much as I want to, I don't want to work as much as it would be something that would satiate the financial wants that I have for myself to work every day. It is not something that I can do, because not every family needs help every day. Because now they have like consistent caregivers in the time that I have been, yeah, like at school. So it's more just like filling in the odds and ends and whatnot. But so I have been able to have the luxury of just like lounging around. But even then, that's why I'm like, oh, I just want to get up and out more, because I feel like whenever I am chilling out all day, it turns more into hiding out all day, which isn't great and not something that I really want to do, especially whenever, like, yeah, I'm home to spend time with my dad. So I want to be spending time with my dad instead of hiding out in my room from any responsibility trying to regroup. So it's nice being able to have regroup days, but then also just be in the mix so that it doesn't feel like I'm being called down from my tower, instead of like, oh, I'm already there, so let me just do that. But that's that. I forget where I was going in the first place, but I have some things to do, and since I'm up and on my feet, I feel myself about to sit down, but I want to keep the ball rolling, so I'm gonna go do some downstairs. Okay.